Today, we're diving into something that's totally fundamental to our modern world, but it's often completely invisible: the resilience of our data centers. We're going to find out why this isn't just some IT problem, but actually a core business strategy, one that's all about survival and growth.
So let's just kick things off with a massive question. I mean, think about everything you do online. Streaming a movie, all your company's apps in the cloud, even the complex systems that keep our cities humming along. What's the one thing that makes all of that possible?
Yep, that's it, the data center. It's basically the engine room of the 21st century, the actual physical heart of our digital lives. But what does that really mean for organizations today?
This is such a crucial way to look at it. See, a modern data center isn't just some building packed with servers anymore. It is the bedrock. It's the foundation for the cloud we use every day, for how big companies run, and even for the critical infrastructure that keeps whole countries online.
All right, so let's really dig into this idea of the data center as a foundation, because as we've all gone more and more digital, our reliance on this foundation has it's exploded. And this brings us to a really critical concept: strategic dependency. Data centers have gone from being just another IT asset to, in many cases, the single point on which a company's success or failure completely rests. If it works, you can innovate, you can grow, but if it fails, everything is at risk.
But here's the catch. Just as this foundation has become more important than ever, there are all these new forces making it way more complex and, potentially a lot more fragile.
We're looking at what's basically a perfect storm of complexity. You've got edge computing, which is putting little data centers out in all sorts of vulnerable spots. Then you have companies using multiple clouds, which creates a huge management headache. Your infrastructure is spread out all over the place, and then you add AI on top, which is powerful, but it's also another really intricate layer to manage.
And speaking of AI, get this: Gartner is predicting that by 2025, half of all data centers are going to be using it. Now, on one hand, that's fantastic for creating super efficient, self-healing systems. But on the other hand, it introduces this whole new level of complexity that you have to manage and secure flawlessly.
So, with this foundation being so critical and getting more complicated by the day, what actually happens when it starts to crack? What's the real-world cost when a data center just isn't resilient enough to handle all these new pressures?
Well, the most immediate thing, the one we all feel right away, is downtime. This is when services just stop. Could be a power outage, a hardware failure, a software bug, whatever. Things just go dark.
And the impact of that downtime is just brutal. It's not just a technical problem. It's lost sales, operations grinding to a halt, and customers getting so frustrated they might just leave you for good. And of course, it's a huge blow to your company's reputation. Some studies put the average cost of just 1 hour of downtime in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's staggering.
The second major consequence is cybersecurity. A fragile, non-resilient infrastructure isn't just prone to accidents, it's practically a flashing neon sign for attackers. It's a prime target.
And the impact of a breach? It creates this devastating domino effect. When a weak system gets hit, it takes way longer to recover, you lose more data, the costs to fix everything are astronomical, and maybe worst of all, you completely shatter the trust you've worked so hard to build with your customers. And finally, there's a risk that can hit you right in the wallet and tangle you up in legal trouble for years. We're talking about regulatory exposure.
So many industries are governed by these really strict rules about data protection. Things like HIPAA in healthcare or PCI for credit card payments. If your data center's lack of resilience means you can't meet those standards, you are looking at massive fines, painful audits, and you could even be legally barred from operating in your own industry.
Okay, so we've looked at the risks, and it's a pretty sobering picture, right? But now, let's flip the script. What does it look like when an organization gets this right? What is the advantage of building a truly resilient foundation?
This slide really lays it all out, side by side. On one side, you've got that fragile world we were just talking about: downtime, data loss, a damaged reputation. But on the other side, that's the goal: a resilient infrastructure that delivers high availability, recovers super fast, and builds trust with everyone, from customers to regulators. And these aren't just technical buzzwords. These are powerful, real-world business outcomes. You're protecting your revenue, recovering faster from any incident, building trust, and even operating more efficiently. And this is the big one. You're creating a stable platform that lets you confidently jump on new technologies like AI and edge computing without worrying that the floor is going to fall out from under you.
All of this really brings us to our final, and I think most important point. In the world we live in today, data center resilience isn't just a good idea anymore. It's an absolute, non-negotiable necessity.
This quote just nails it. Investing in resilience isn't an IT cost. It's a strategic investment in the future of your entire business. It's about making sure you can actually operate tomorrow, that you can outperform your competitors, and that you can keep growing for years to come.
So, as you think about your own organization, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is your digital foundation a hidden risk, just waiting for something to go wrong? Or is it a source of real strength, a true competitive advantage? The answer to that could very well define your future.